What does it feel like to have polymyalgia rheumatica or PMR? I've been asked to describe it by many, and I've personally never had PMR, but I have the story of a prednisone warrior named Jan, who personally was diagnosed with PMR and wanted to share his story. He has some tips at the end, so make sure you're there for those, and I'll have a few comments. So without further ado, I'm going to share Prednisone Warrior Jan's story about being diagnosed with polymyalgia rheumatica. He says, 3 years ago, I was 75 years old. March 22nd, 2021, the day after I received my first COVID shot. I could not get out of bed by myself. Trouble with all basic functions. Mostly it was my shoulder and hands, but a lot of my body had trouble. Nobody could help or support me. Only my wife was a hero, helping out of bed, sometimes 3 to 5 times, mowing the lawn, all things needing to be done. It was COVID time. My doctor didn't have a clue and did not want to see me and tried to give me opioids, which did nothing but made me feel rotten. 4 months, summer, went by, and on August 2nd, I went to the hospital. I thought it would fix itself, but no. I was not able to sleep much. The emergency doctor was not very accommodating either, as I've always looked young for my age. I insisted I could not function at all. After a month, I had the COVID vaccine, and I diagnosed myself with PMR because of the extreme shoulder pain, a telltale sign for 95% of those with PMR. I read then and believe today, but very few were aware of this, and my doctor did not know or believe it. I was in the emergency for 9 hours, blood tests, and I insisted there was something very wrong. Finally, the doctor said, I believe you have PMR. I had not told him when I came in that is what I thought. Not trying to do his job. CRP reading of 61, 1 being the normal, and an elevated ESR reading. I said, I believe you are right, as that is what I had concluded myself. He had a prednisone prescription ready. The next day, I was 60% better, tapering off, etc. But since that time, I am still dealing with arthritis, improving a little each day and learning more. They say it can take 1 to 5 years to recover fully if you do. I was on a regimen of prednisone twice, also 6 months after the first, and still learning more. I read your online advice in the first year. Thanks a million. I know more now, and that prednisone is only a temporary aid. I am 3 years older now, at 78 years old, and doing okay, but still studying and learning ways to improve. A little history. I learned that PMR is still mysterious, and experts only know the cause is believed to be genetics plus a trigger. I have some genetics, family arthritis, and the COVID vaccine was the trigger for sure, as I violently reacted the next day. I feel at about 85 to 90% now. I was very active in my life. Hobby, farmer, sailor, cycled across Canada, 7,600 kilometers, at age 60, and much more. I believe one has to be very positive in the situation and look hard for answers. My hands have had trouble too, but improving, to the extent that I am soon hoping to get my bicycle out. I have been using a Free Spirit elliptical trainer for the last 2 years, which is low impact machine that is building back my strength. A good option. Yes, my journey has not been easy, but optimism is helping me through. My wife and I have 4 children in early 50s. We've been married for 55 years, 9 grandchildren, 2 married, and others on that road. Most health issues, I believe, come down to some basic factors for improvement. These are his tips. Heredity, food, exercise, being positive, lifestyle, enjoyment, happiness, and more. Telling my story that optimism and effort are a big part of getting well. Also, prednisone can give relief, but certainly is not the solution. For all those who may benefit from my journey and testimony, wishing you well, Megan, as your important role as a health advisor. Thank you, Jan, for sharing your story. I appreciate how PMR is a really tough condition because it affects people who are usually otherwise healthy, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, usually, they suddenly have horrible shoulder, hip, wrist pain. And that's exactly what his story shows. If you would like to hear the tips that he referred to that were thanks a million, then you should download my free Prednisone Checklist. It's available at the link below, and it has my best tips for how to stay well, even while taking prednisone. Click the link below to download it now. Signing off is Dr. Megan, your prednisone pharmacist.